Renee Matos, and I'm going to be talking about action research. Action research is a term we are starting to hear more about in education, but just what does it mean? If you look up a definition in 3 different books, I can attest that you will find yourself with 3 different definitions. The term action research was first coined by MIT professor and social psychologist Kurt Lewin in the 1940s to describe an interactive research process where the researcher is engaged in the environment being studied. Since then, it has been adopted by many researchers in various disciplines. The research paradigm is based on the philosophy of critical realism, involving the influence of political, historical, and socioeconomic factors on our lives. Action research has been used to explore social injustices, but also in education, because in action research, the researcher is not separated from the process, but a part of it. So if we truly stop to think about what separates action research from more traditional forms of research, it is that action research describes work where the investigation is not separated from the action needed to solve the problem. In other words, the exploration occurs alongside the solution. Ernie Stringer defined action research as a systematic approach to investigation that enables people to find effective solutions to the problems that confront their everyday lives. Action research is frequently undertaken in the school setting because it allows a practical way to search for solutions to everyday real problems experienced in education that can be carried out while the educator is still teaching. The process of action research is reflective and allows for both inquiry and discussion as the components of research. Action researchers begin using a cycle of reflection, planning, action, and observation. This cycle continues as an ongoing process where individuals are constantly trying to improve their practice in their own environment. The first step generally begins with reflection on their own practice or the problem they are trying to solve. This is followed by planning, where the researcher gathers data and determines how best to attack the problem. Next, action research makes use of its name through determining and carrying out a course of action. Finally, there is a period of observation before the cycle begins again. While there are many variations of action research, all share common features in that there is a relationship between theory and practice, where participation is valued and the focus is on practical problems in specific situations. Street outlines 6 characteristics of action research. The first is that the research specifically addresses a practical issue of concern to a number of people that it is outcome-based. The second characteristic is that all stakeholders who will be affected by the new knowledge or changes should be engaged in the process. In other words, the participants should not be the objects of observation, but co-researchers able to contribute to the course of research. The third characteristic is that the action research process should be cyclical, where the team reflects on the success of the plan and makes modifications in the next cycle of planning, action, evaluation, and reflection. The fourth characteristic is that the action researchers begin with everyday experience and develop a knowledge and action plan to reduce the gap between theory and practice. This process involves that cyclic process of investigation, implementation, evaluation, and developing a new theory to repeat the cycle. The fifth characteristic is educative, developmental, and responsive because action researchers learn by doing. So over time, others are educated to ensure sustainability and skills develop as communities are established and respond to the action research. The sixth and final characteristic is that the action research is credible, sustainable, and transferable. As a qualitative research methodology, action research differs from quantitative research in that it is not generalizable and cannot predict the answers to specific problems. However, action research is considered to be credible and valid if problems are solved and participants increase the control over the problem. It is also preferable for the improvements to be maintained over time, in other words, sustainable, and the conceptual models and theories should be transferable to other contexts with similar issues. There are many types of action research and many ways to categorize it, but I'd like to mention 3 types used most commonly in education: collaborative, classroom, and participatory. Collaborative action research involves multiple researchers who collaborate to study a specific problem. The goal of this type of research is to use the expertise of collaborators and to foster sustained dialogue among stakeholders in different settings. Classroom action research is usually conducted by teachers in the classrooms with the purpose of improving practice. Teachers collect data with their students and use this data to make interpretations. This is frequently a solo endeavor, although teachers can collaborate with one another. Participatory action research is a social collaborative process of action research. The goal is to investigate reality so that it can be changed. Participatory approaches are widely used in community research, health research, education evaluation, and organizational development. The enthusiasm surrounding action research is that it allows the researcher to understand and solve a specific problem as quickly as possible. Other benefits are that it is practical and supports collaboration. Finally, the reflective nature allows researchers to evaluate themselves and their practice as part of the solution process. Although action research cannot be used to solve all questions, it happens in the place where practical questions arise and allows for immediate action. Here are my references.